It's actually way too hot to be filming with a sweater today, so I'm just not wearing any pants. I've been doing some reflecting lately. After living a minimalist lifestyle for a significant amount of time now, what are the things that have been the most helpful for me in living an intentional minimalist life, and which habits have subconsciously formed through this whole experience of minimalism that have been the most effective? So basically, how did I get to the place I'm at right now? Obviously, I don't consider myself to be a perfect minimalist. I don't think that that exists, and it's not something that I care about, honestly. I don't feel like I need to check all the boxes or anything, but there have definitely been some habits that formed that greatly supported me in my journey of decreasing my belongings, living with more intention, and just most importantly, becoming a happier person through all of that. So today I want to share 7 of them with you. These habits go further than the ones that you usually hear, like for example, 1 in, 1 out, or keeping your surfaces free from clutter, although these are also really good tips. But with this video, I just wanted to go a level deeper and talk about some of the things, like the habits or thought patterns really, that form underneath all of these things and that really drive our behavior as consumers, and how we can use them in our minimalism journey. Welcome back, and if you're new here, this is a place where you can get weekly tips and inspiration for living a simpler, happier, and calmer life. So be sure to subscribe if you want to follow along, and today's video is sponsored by my friends over at Skillshare. More on them later. The first thing that I want to talk about is asking yourself a question when you are considering purchasing something or taking on a new hobby, project, commitment. And that is, ask yourself, why do I want this? And then an answer will come up. And then you ask yourself, why do I really want this? Minimalism does not mean that you can never buy anything new, but it does mean that you get to be more intentional with your decisions. And over the last 8 years, I've noticed that if I want something, the reason I think I want it is not always the real reason that I want it. And more often than not, there's an underlying reason that for me often had to do with experiencing a form of insecurity or another difficult emotion that I was facing at the time. You'd be surprised if you really did some soul searching how often the reason that we think we want something is not the real reason. And this can be as simple as wanting a cookie, for example, but then finding out that what I really wanted was a break and comforting myself because I felt overwhelmed. Or, for example, wanting to buy a new dress because I think I don't have enough of that in my wardrobe, but then finding out that I was just trying to cover up feeling insecure about my body or my style. Not only can this question help us to avoid making purchasing mistakes, but it can also really just teach us a lot about ourselves and help us to support ourselves and work through whatever is going on in a supportive way instead of just buying something new. As long as we're asking questions, we get to habit number 2 that I've started doing myself, and that is asking yourself a question about your current possessions. So if you see something you haven't used in a while, ask yourself, why is this here? And then after the initial answer bubbles up, you ask yourself, okay, but why is this really here? I've come to realize that the items that I use the most and get the most value from are actually, or were actually, a very small part of my possessions. And when I ask myself this question about these items, it's a no-brainer because I use them all the time. However, that is not the same with all of my items. Let's take an example and say you have an acoustic guitar that you haven't used in a while, and asking yourself this question could be the first answer because this allows me to play the guitar when I want to. But the second answer could actually be because I am afraid of letting go of this acoustic guitar because I've always viewed myself as someone who values music, and letting go of my guitar would mean that I'm admitting that I've kind of grown past that part of myself. Sometimes life changes, we change, circumstances change, and items that were very valuable to us at one point in our life might just be there now for not a clear reason unless we really stop to think about it. And I have let go of quite a bit of items like this in the past, and it wasn't always easy and it was very scary at times, but I always found that this also opened up new doors to new possibilities and interests. The third habit has really transformed my life and the way that I buy new things, and that is being a hypercritical consumer. And I've come to the realization that there is so much stuff out there that there's really no reason for FOMO, and I will only buy something if it really fits my needs and my criteria perfectly, or at least like very close to perfectly. I used to have something in my mind, for example, wanting to buy jeans, and then I go out looking for a pair and I bought the ones that I was most excited about. Even if it wasn't perfect, even if it didn't fit me perfectly, it was just the fact that I wanted to buy jeans, and so I went out and bought jeans. But I've realized that if I'm already not sure about something in the fitting room, most likely this is going to become one of those items that I hardly wear or use. So I started becoming very critical, reading reviews, doing research before I buy something. I make an actual list of all the things I need an item to be able to do, especially with electronics and things like that. And also which things I don't need it to do, so that I don't always have to go for the most expensive option. Quality does not always mean it's the most expensive. It's really about what you want this thing to be able to do, and then finding the thing that fits that perfectly. And if you find something that you were kind of okay with, there's no real reason to buy it, because there's so much out there that the chances are very high you're going to be able to find something better that suits your needs better and that fits almost perfectly to your needs. The next habit I started doing is saving first and spending later, by which I mean you get your income or your salary, and then a part of that is for your monthly expenses, so the things you know are coming up. Then a part is for your savings, and the part that you are left with, that becomes your budget for all the rest of the things for the month. This has greatly helped me to save more and buy fewer new items, and this can also be really great for avoiding something called lifestyle inflation, which means that as you start to make more money, your expenses also rise because you kind of get used to it. So if you do it like this, if you start to earn more money, that just means that you are saving more, and you can actually keep your monthly budget the same, so you're still spending the same amount of money. So often when it comes to minimalism, we see these homes that are really beautiful, perfectly organized, color coordinated, everything is beautiful, it fits perfectly, it can be in a magazine. And what this tends to do is make us feel more insecure about our own home or try to find ways to fix it. But as much as we would like to, our lives are just not always going to be beautiful and simple and clean and under control, and this does not always look like this. Our home is not perfect. Sometimes we don't give things a place and they kind of end up drifting through our apartment. My wardrobe is definitely not perfect. And I've come to realize the importance of accepting these natural flows of your home and letting things get messy every once in a while, and being okay with not having everything perfectly color coordinated or always perfectly organized. Letting go of the need to have everything perfect has definitely helped me in my minimalism journey, because it's made me much more intentional about how I spend my money, but also what I'm spending my mental and emotional energy on, which is even more important for me. We have 2 more to go, but first a quick word for today's sponsor, Skillshare. If you don't know, Skillshare is an online learning community where you can go to learn new things or improve your skills. They have thousands of classes in all kinds of different topics for different levels. For example, I have watched classes on art, journaling, business, writing, photography, videography, digital design, plant care. I've actually learned a lot of things through Skillshare classes. They're always adding new ones too, so there's basically always something new to learn. The class I'm currently watching is from Sean Dalton, called Still Life Photography, and the reason I'm watching this class is that I have grown more used to my camera for videography. But when it comes to photography, I'm still very much a newbie. I have a lot to learn, and I hope that I can improve my skills for things like thumbnails and stuff like that. The classes are curated for learning, so there are no ads, and they're always broken up into small sections. They also have live classes now, and the first 1,000 people to click on my link in the description box will get a free trial of premium membership. This next habit is something that I would probably say to anyone if I could only recommend one very practical thing, and that is to try cutting out impulse buys and always going shopping with a list. I can't even tell you how many purchases I didn't make because I took a few days to think about it first. And look, minimalism does not mean that we cannot enjoy buying something new, but it does mean just taking a short amount of time to ask why before we buy, and instead of being influenced by all the different marketing tactics that are constantly being thrown at us, making our decision based on what feels good and true for us. So if I see something I want, I will add it to my wish list, think about it for a few days, and if I go shopping, I will always make a list, whether that is for food or clothing or my home or anything. I go with a list. That way I can still enjoy window shopping, but more like enjoying things as if they were in a museum, for example. Just appreciating them, but not buying them myself. And then I get what's on my list and I go home. I talk about this a lot, but minimalism is not just about things, and our attention is actually a very valuable resource to a lot of companies in today's world. And there are actually a lot of things that actively want our attention and try to get it. One of the best decisions I've ever made is switching off notifications, something so simple, but it allows me to decide for myself when I want to be distracted by my phone instead of the other way around. Or doing things one at a time, because we've become so used to multitasking that it might feel like we're being very productive, but in reality what we are doing is decreasing our attention span and our ability to focus. And these are big things that I've noticed changes in since I started living more intentional and minimal. I'm curious which habit has been the most helpful for you in your minimalism journey or your intentional living journey. I'd love to know. So if you could share it in the comments, I still read all of them and I reply to as many as I can. Right here I have a video with minimalism tips I don't follow, and right there is practical slow living tips. As always, questions, comments, conversations down below. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.